In 2025, it's estimated that over 300 million people suffer from an anxiety disorder.
Because I do have anxiety. I'm clinically diagnosed with anxiety, so every moment for me is anxious.
I remember being really young, and I remember having shortness of breath and going to my mom and telling her that. In hindsight, now I know that that was obviously anxiety.
What are some of the symptoms or signs that a person is going through anxiety but might not be aware?
You see a truck coming at you at 100 miles an hour. That's not perceived. That's real threat. That's real danger, right? But from an anxiety sufferer's perspective, that's the feeling that they have all the time. It's the perception that there's 100-mile-an-hour truck coming at you at all times.
Oh, wow.
No matter the situation. And this is anxiety, not stress. You gotta go fast. You gotta rush through this, because if we stay in this situation too long, something could go wrong. So rushing is a big one. There's rarely a feeling of looking forward to something.
If someone is overwhelmed, in the phase of overwhelm, what is the first thing? What a treat to be here with you. We met 5 years ago in Bali.
It's been 5 years.
Yeah, here we are in Dubai. I mean, I admire the work that you're doing, and also I admire a lot the discipline that you put into creating content. I don't know, there's not any other content creator in the world as disciplined as you.
That's what it is, if you're going to do something.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
A long time ago, you were battling with anxiety, right? I think for 6 years you were in that journey.
Dark.
And exactly. What was the remember what was the darkest moment that you had?
The one moment?
The darkest moment.
The darkest moment during the anxiety.
Yeah.
The darkest moment was, this was just before my son was going to be born, and I was in Vancouver, British Columbia, which is where I grew up. And we were on a vacation there, and this was as low as a person can get, Rodrigo. And there's this bridge known as the Lionsgate Bridge. I actually get emotional just talking about it. Lionsgate Bridge. And one day I decided it's time for me to kind of end my life, because I was in such a state of darkness, being down on myself, no purpose, no direction, don't know where I'm going, don't know how to deal with what's happening on the inside, don't know how to deal with the fears, the irritability, the anger, even though I had a lot of information given to me up to that point. Like I had started the process, right? So I had literally mapped out my own.
Wow.
And it was happening. It was the morning, and I was about to follow through with it. And this is a bridge that is commonly known for people taking their lives. A lot of people don't know that, actually. And so the morning of that I was going to do this, I had parked my car just on the side looking at the bridge. And this was about to unfold because I didn't see a way out of what I was dealing with, right? And during those moments, just sitting in the car, something started to happen where I wasn't thinking about trying to make something better in my life. But for the first time, there was this intuitiveness. I don't know, you can call it miraculous, you can call it whatever you want, but there was this intuitiveness, and it wasn't a voice, it wasn't an entity, a being, or anything that showed up like that, but there was a deeper feeling that showed up, and it connected me to my son, he was about to be born. And during those moments, the word Hayat had come to me, and in Turkish, Hayat means life, right?
Wow.
And I didn't know what we were going to name him or anything like that, right? So I'm sitting there, and this word Hayat comes up. Where's Hayat coming from? And then something connected to that, which said, kind of like Hayat will give you life, the life, the new life coming in the form of your child will give you life. And it was one of those moments where, again, there was no mentally trying to put the pieces together, but it was a moment, and it didn't deter me from following through with this attempt that I was going to go through yet. But then the feelings started to grow. Then the emotions started to show up. And then I started to look at the bridge which was in front of me in a different way. Instead of seeing it as a way of ending life, I started to see it as a way of kind of progressing towards a new chapter or a new life. So there was a brief moment there where it was very enlightening, and just one intuitiveness led to another intuitiveness. My son will be born. Maybe I'll give it another day. Maybe I'll give it another week. It turned into maybe I'll give it another month, so on and so forth. When he was born, it was one of those moments, of course, as many people know, I will never forget, and probably the biggest high I could ever, experience. And it was the moment where I, took a detour and no longer thought about that level of darkness anymore. And it started me on the path to true inner healing, self-mastery, and a more of a purpose of trying to help other people. So in a way, I'm very lucky to be here. And I also have, that's why my work is very deep, where I can really empathically, empathize with other people who are going through similar things, if that makes sense. But if I hadn't gone through those kinds of darkest moments, there's no chance I could be at the level I am today to be able to help somebody else out. So,
wow.
Yeah.
And it's like you feel like you are stuck. That's what it comes like. You are stuck.
Yes, you are stuck.
Yeah.
You are stuck. And I have my heart goes out to these people, because if you can think of what it's like on the inside of a person like this, and how hard they're trying to look normal on the outside, right? Now you can see how hard their system is working just to function, just to go to work, just to drive a car, just to, it's like, it's an unbelievable feeling. So I have so much empathy for people that are currently going through it, because I've been there, and I know how hard it is. One of the hardest things about anxiety is to continue to project the idea that I'm okay to other people, when in fact underneath there's nothing okay about it. And there's no answers a lot of the times. There's just the dog chasing its tail. Round and round we go, looking for answers. And the answers too often are coming from a place of the mental side. So when you tell an anxiety sufferer to try to think their way through anxiety, it just creates more chaos and questions a lot of the times, right? Because they're at a point where they can't think clearly. Okay? The body's taken over. The mind has taken over, the unconscious mind.
And you've been working on this topic of anxiety for 15 years, and you've been, you met a lot of people with anxiety. Normally, what are the thoughts, and what are the feelings and the experiences that people normally go when they are suffering from anxiety?
They're suffering from anxiety. So when we talk about anxiety, I think it's very important that we do not put anxiety into a little box like a lot of people do. Oh, like online, for example, on social media, we have a big problem. We can talk about it if you want later. We have a big problem. And one of those problems is that anxiety is starting to become some kind of a fad. I see this in a lot of social media influencers today, is that they say, oh, I have anxiety in this moment. That's not anxiety, right? Or I experienced some anxiety with this, in order to do whatever their goal is for that. But we don't want to approach anxiety in a very simplified manner because it's very complex. Anxiety is very complex. But the solution doesn't have to be complex. And that's the beauty of this, right? So, yes, you may have gone through all sorts of different emotional, physical, mental traumas growing up. Maybe there's some connection. We can go deep into this. I don't know if you want to, into past lives coming in and bringing some of those experiences and feelings into this life. Those are my own beliefs. We don't have to go, but so wherever it came from, it's important to remember, we're here right now, and this is a complex situation, but the solution can be simple. But the experience of anxiety comes in many forms. It comes from the mental form, which are thought patterns that are very well practiced.
What?
You can think about these thought patterns. Some of them are in the realm of, let's say, I'll never be good enough. I'm not capable enough. I have suffered too much.
Wow. Because
my mother or father has gone through X, so will I for the rest of my life. Everything revolves around seeing ourselves in a very small manner when it comes to anxiety. Anxiety makes your world shrink, and it makes your mind shrink in a way where you keep thinking the same things every day that are not helping you.
Yeah.
Right? So people, but the problem is because anxiety leads you to a life that is very unconscious, like morning till night, same things, same reactions, trying so hard to stay under control of what's going on the inside, right? That we never really take the time to step out of that and look at it and go, wow, like I may have another choice in this matter, in this moment. So we're so in it that we never really take the time to step out of it and look at what's really going on from the outside.
Oh, I see.
Right? Which is a very powerful way to kind of go about the recovery process. So we have these mental thoughts that become patterns. We have emotions that become patterns. Emotions in the realm of fear, anger towards our past, and irritability, sadness, but it is mostly in the negatives. When an anxiety sufferer tends to experience some kind of joy or peace, a lot of the times what comes with that is a feeling of undeservedness. I don't deserve that.
Oh, wow.
Here's what's comfortable for me.
Yeah.
That's uncomfortable. I don't know what that's like.
Yeah.
So, happiness would be nice, but it's interesting because the nervous system will always stick to what it's practiced the most. So if this brain and body has been practiced in anxiety and this addiction to suffering for decades and decades, and you bring that same person some level of peace or happiness or joy, it's going to be short-lived because it's uncertain. It's unfamiliar, right?
Oh, I see. And then people stay there because that's familiar, right? That's what familiar, right?
Exactly what it is.
Oh, wow.
Even if they suffer.
Yeah.
Right?
And also you mentioned about addiction. And then people get addicted to it.
It's an addiction.
It's an addiction, right?
Yeah. I mean, nobody talks about it, but it's an addiction. We talk about the addictions that are coming in from the outside.
Yeah.
Things that you take and things that you do. But we never talk about the addiction to suffering.
Wow.
Right? There is a real addiction to suffering going on in the world that many people are missing. They are not tapping into what's really taking place within them and therefore their life experiences. So the addiction to suffering can show up in many different ways, right? The addiction to suffering can come in the form of waking up in the morning and looking in the mirror and recognizing that there's someone there that's very limited.
Yeah.
Contribute to the addiction to suffering. Tick.
Yeah.
I wear the same clothes as I did when I had that panic attack a few days ago. Okay, let's relive that again. Addiction to suffering. You know, addiction to suffering in a way where these people are drawn towards things that are dramatic, if you know what I mean. Like, if you are this kind of identity in person, you will be drawn towards things that continue to fuel your fears, such as news. You'll see people gravitating towards a lot of division in today's world, right? And getting very angry about that and caught up and emotional, right? And fueling more division, for example. So as you can see, this addiction to suffering is a pattern. It's a program in people's lives, but it also shows up in where they go, what they do, and who they meet throughout the day.
Yeah.
Right.
What I never thought is that like it becomes an addiction also because it's a, can we say it's like a cope mechanism to you are safe, at least because that's what you know. You stick to that because that's what you know. Like to go out of this, I mean, maybe there's something better, but I don't know. So this is what I know. I'm familiar and I get, is it?
Perfect.
Yeah?
Perfectly said. Because there's a formula known as, familiarity equals safety. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't mean nature equals safety.
Yeah, yeah.
Nature doesn't equal safety to the nervous system.
Yeah.
No. It doesn't mean taking a nap equals safety or hugging someone equals safety.
Yeah.
No. Familiarity equals safety. So because that's the case, if you tell some anxiety sufferer to go spend time in nature, but they're not familiar with nature, how long do you think they're going to spend in nature? Not very long. Or they'll find ways to sabotage the experience, rush out of it, get to their phone, these sorts of things, to get them back into suffering, because that's familiar.
Definitely. Wow.
Right? Yeah.
Well, I think people who are watching now, it's like a question that is coming to my mind, but what is really anxiety? How you explain anxiety to a 9-year-old?
Yeah. I think the one of the best ways to explain it is if you think about, let's just think about a mirror, okay? And that mirror kind of represents what's going on in a person's inner world, meaning kind of their 5 senses, what they see, hear, feel, taste, and smell. And that mirror is being projected into the world. And what that mirror is really doing is it's picking up on all the things that are wrong or could go wrong. And it transfers that information into your senses, and then it turns into emotions, symptoms, and disorders. So another maybe example would be to see it kind of in the way of perceived threat. So anxiety equals perceived threat or perceived danger.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you think about normally, if you're crossing a road and you see a truck coming at you at 100 miles an hour, that's not perceived, that's real threat, that's real danger, right? But from an anxiety sufferer's perspective, that's the feeling that they have all the time. It's the perception that there's a 100-mile-an-hour truck coming at you at all times.
Oh, wow.
No matter the situation. And this is anxiety, not stress. This is anxiety. This is the chronic part, right, of things. So it's hard to explain to someone who's regulated. It's like, how can a cafe, with mild music and some people talking in the background, how can that feel like a truck is coming at you at 100 miles an hour? But it does, right?
Oh, I see.
Even if the person doesn't consciously believe they're in danger,
Yeah.
the body is saying something different, right? So honestly, Rodrigo, those are just a couple of ways that we can start to see what it's like to live in this kind of a person, a mind, a body, an experience throughout the day, right? Because just to go a little bit deeper into the real experience, back in those dark days for me, when I woke up in the morning, I couldn't wait to close my eyes at night, right? Because everything that happened between the time of opening up my eyes and closing my eyes was absolutely horrible. It was horrible, horrible, you know? It was horrible in the way of, this isn't who I am, and yet I still have to go to work for 8-9 hours. And it was horrible in the way of bodily symptoms that you experience. It feels like, you know, like you've got your finger in an electrical socket all day long, you know, for example. So it was like being bullied all the time, terrorized, you know. That's the feeling. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's tough.
And what are some of the symptoms or signs that a person is going through anxiety but might not be aware? Tell me some of the symptoms.
Yeah. Some of the symptoms can come in the form of rushing. So if you think about anxiety, I think we should also think about the fact that if you think about someone at the wheel on a bus, they're driving the bus, right? And we want to think about that in terms of the inner protector within the person that's driving the bus, okay? And as long as the inner protector is driving the bus, it's telling you exactly how you should do things.
Yeah.
So the inner protector will say, you got to go fast. You got to rush through this, because if we stay in this situation too long, something could go wrong, right? We could be overwhelmed again or re-traumatized. So rushing is a big one. The inner protector will also spew feelings of dread, like, okay, I'll go do that thing that I have to do, but I'm dreading doing it. There's rarely a feeling of looking forward to something.
Oh, I see.
You know, like, it's just, we're going to go on vacation. It's great. You know, like now we can talk about vacation. It's great. I'd love to go on vacation. But back then, if I were to go on the same vacations I do today, I would try to get out of it. Yeah. I would look for every excuse to get out of it, or I would take some kind of tranquilizer of sort to get me through it. It'd be a nightmare to get on that vacation. So anxiety shows up in these different forms, in the ways of anticipating the worst, in ways where it forces you to rush, it forces you to hide.
Yeah.
For example, if someone is going to go do a university course, you know, and they're in a big auditorium, these people will sit at the back, right next to the exit door, because of a number of different reasons. One, if things get too difficult, they can run out, right? Two is the fact that the bladder, there's a bladder issue with anxiety as well. So people will find that they are constantly having to go to the bathroom. Okay, so within an hour of, you know, someone giving a speech, they'll go to the bathroom 6-7 times.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so that's, now we're talking about kind of the physiological aspect of anxiety, right? But again, does this going to the bathroom have some kind of a benefit in relation to survival? Yes, because the less time from that perspective, the less time I spend in the auditorium, you know, the more chance I can have some level of relief. So that going to the bathroom is, okay, this is also a survival mechanism, right, at work. So you can see at the root of all these things, rushing, whatever it may be, anticipating, all these different strategies on managing the anxiety, really all have to do with survival, right?
Yeah.
And there are so many. Like anxiety people get very creative, right, to try to get through a particular experience, right? So, yeah.
No, help me to understand that when is the level that there's anxiety? So we all, I mean, is it safe to say that we all have levels of anxiety, right?
I think we all have moments of anxiousness.
Exactly, yeah. Tell me more about that. Maybe that's what I wanted to go.
Yeah.
Tell me.
So we will have moments of anxiousness, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going through anxiety. Okay, so for example, you're driving a car and someone cuts you off on the road.
Yeah.
You have a moment of anxiousness.
Okay.
You lose yourself. Your survival parts take over. You give the person the finger.
Yeah.
you yell in your car, and then within 3 minutes later, you're thinking about what to listen to on the radio next.
I see.
That's anxiousness. Anxiety is you get cut off on the road, you go through the same thing, middle finger, yelling in the car. Now you're looking out for the next car. Now you're looking to the left and the right. Now you're driving faster than you were before.
Yeah.
Now your body is in a heightened state, a sensitized state. Now the system is taking over. You are no longer in control of the experience. And that goes on in the beginning of that sort of a thing. It goes on for a shorter period. But if those experiences start to become normal, like everyday things, and you respond the same way as you always do, then that becomes chronic, that becomes anxiety.
Oh, I see.
And now the person's driving as if they've already been cut off on the road.
Yeah,
right?
I see.
Yeah.
So is it safe to say it's accumulation of situations like that it starts accumulating, and then the person starts to go into a level of anxiety, and that's when you say like it's rigid, and it becomes worse and worse because it goes in circles. That's what you're saying, right?
That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. So
I'm excited to move into understanding solutions, but there's something that I still don't understand. What are some of the most important root causes of anxiety today?
So if we look at the root causes, I think we have to think about kind of the mechanism of the brain a little bit, just a little bit, and understand that when we come to this world, it's kind of like a blank slate. Right? There's nothing painted there. We may have the fear of falling, we may have the fear of loud noises coming in as a baby. But aside from that, from what we know, those are some of the only fears that we have. Now, as time goes on, as we see what's going on with our authority figures, mother, father, family, friends, this and that, we start to accumulate beliefs. Okay. So at this point, we are going, oh, that means love.
Yeah.
So for somebody who is, for example, physically abusing their spouse or whoever, right? That could potentially be their definition of love, if in fact that was something that was regular growing up as a child. What do you mean? That's what I thought that meant, right? So I'm a big believer that anxiety comes because these wirings, these neural wirings in the brain have become so solid and so strong and so well practiced to the point where if anything wants to shift that wiring or that way the brain has created itself, right? It's going to be met with a lot of defensiveness. So if you come to someone saying, hey, that's not good for you, you need to change that, to some degree, the person is going, well, why? Why would I need to change that? It doesn't matter what the behavior is. So where does the anxiety come from? I believe it comes from repeated experiences. I believe it comes from also thoughts that we give priority to. So if there is a thought that crosses our mind and we follow it, you know, like a greyhound, we're following it and we build on it, kind of like a spider web effect. Now we're becoming emotionally invested in it. A thought that becomes emotionally invested in turns into unconscious actions. And these unconscious actions tend to turn into who we are. I am blah, 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 right?
Oh, I see.
So again, reiterating, learned experiences at childhood. I believe authority figures have a big thing. Thoughts that are given priority to, actions that have been repeated over and over again. These are kind of the ways that anxiety unfolds in a person's life. It's not random. Right? It's not out of the blue.
Okay.
I hope that helps.
As far as I understood, so anxiety comes a lot from our childhood, from all the beliefs that we start accumulating, and those beliefs, they transform into actions that we repeatedly do, and that's where we start creating all the pressure inside, and that's where it starts to become then very hard to cope. And is it a disease?
No, I would never. I would never label it as a disease, or even in my books, I wouldn't label it as an illness.
Or, illness,
The moment you tell someone who is already in a deep state of dysregulation and anxiety, if you tell them that this is related to an illness, a lot of the times their connection to those words is this can't be healed.
Oh, I see.
The moment you bring illness into the perspective, that hill becomes like that.
I see.
And now you're pushing boulders up the hill.
Yeah.
So in my books, and I'm talking from real experience, you know, having lived it and having been told stuff like that. But without downplaying what people are going through and what anxiety really is like, I would say it's a bundle of habits.
Yeah, but also I like what you said. There's a dysregulation, right? I think that's a better word. Okay, and now what is coming? What is today's role of social media in the levels of anxiety that we are suffering?
We're going for social media. I know that social media, you know, it's easy to say social media is bad. It's easy to say the internet is harming people more than helping people. It's easy to just do that. But the thing about social media, I believe now, is that it's creating a lot of people that have anxiety but don't know they have anxiety. And what I mean by that is what you become, as mentioned earlier, what you become emotionally invested in is what your system wants to continue to do. So what sort of content is front and center every single day you open your social media platform? At the moment I go on Twitter, and the nervous system works very similar to the algorithms, right? So as you can see, nervous system, familiarity, it likes to amplify that. Let's have more of that. Social media platform, same thing, right? Oh, what does this person listen to? What does this person look at? Well, they want to know what's going on in politics from what we have seen. Okay, well, let's bombard them with tremendous amounts of politics every single day. And since most of us are not consciously going through the day, we're going through the politics and going, and we're just spending more time on it, which is only amplifying our stress, tension, anxiety. And there's no way of getting out of it until we start to become aware of what's happening in our lives. So you're going to notice, I mean, this is for another conversation, but the social media algorithms mimic the nervous system very similarly, and we can even go deep into that another time if you want. But
Okay.
People need to really understand that the social media content that they are watching on a regular basis, these reels on TikTok, Instagram, this, that, and the other thing, should not be labeled as fun, in my opinion, and they should not be labeled as entertainment either. They are literally wiring the brain to sort for what's wrong or could go wrong, right? And they're also taking us in a direction where we are losing our own creativity,
Yeah.
right? And we're starting to prioritize all sorts of other things that really are not beneficial to us on the inside world, in the inside world. So it doesn't mean it's dangerous or anything like that, but we do have to become very aware of where our time is being spent. When a person starts to heal and make the decision that I want to make my life better, I want to feel better, right? You literally have to give something up and replace it with something else. So those 10,000 hours that you spent doom scrolling on social media, you're going to have to stop. There's no trick to it.
Yeah.
You're just going to have to stop it eventually, somehow, one way or another. And you're going to have to replace that time with something else, right? And when you replace that time with something else, in the beginning, it's going to be so boring, Rodrigo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
After this all day long,
I love what you
right?
say.
Or
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
you know, the division or the anger or the this or the getting caught up stuff, right? After all that, now that's over there, and now you want me to read a book? Like, and then they'll start reading it, you know, and within a page, this is not stimulating.
Yeah.
This isn't fun. And then the label comes in, I don't like reading.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Not necessarily. You're just not familiar with it,
Yeah.
right? So in truth, you know, what's interesting is that the feeling of boredom, a lot of the times, this kind of boredom is actually a pathway to healing. You know? You know what I mean? That kind of connection, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I have sacrificed a lot of social media time
Yeah.
for the sake of boredom.
Yeah.
I sit in meditation for hours,
Wow.
and you know, I don't have to. I don't have to take a nap in the afternoon. I don't have to go to bed at 9:30 p.m. I mean, do you think most people do that stuff in the world? No, they don't do it, right? You get their second win at 11 p.m. and do more work or see what's the next big thing out there, right? So there's a lot of sacrifices that have to be made. And there's a lot of awareness that we have to tap into. If in fact you commit to the decision that I want to improve myself, I'm not satisfied with how I feel. I want to get rid of this anxiety, right? So there is that. Yeah.
Okay. As far as I understood, then social media, the way it increases our anxiety, is it by amplifying those negative beliefs that we have about ourselves? What you just said about, look, I'm not good enough, or this is not going to be good, or all that belief, it just amplifies
Every
because
time.
you are just all the time bombarded with that comparing, you know. That's where it triggers and it increases the anxiety, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, especially Instagram.
Yeah.
Instagram is one of those places where, you know, the photos, the models, the nice places, all those things are there.
Yeah.
And we're not really, most of us, because we are in overstimulated state, we're not saying, hey, good for them. They're living their life and they're enjoying their life. We don't do it like that.
I see.
Right? Because people are in a survival state.
Yeah.
If you're going through Instagram in a survival state, you're in competition mode.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you're not, but if you're in a regulated state, then you're in a grateful mode.
Yes.
So I I'm moving in the direction of unconditional love now, which is a whole nother world.
I see. Like if someone is overwhelmed, in the phase of overwhelm, what is the first thing to do if it's in the phase of overwhelm?
Now, there's a lot of things you can do. But one of the things, again, I like to work from a bottom-up approach with people rather than a top-down approach, meaning let's have a felt experience of what we're going through rather than try to mentally put puzzle pieces together and solve this, if that makes sense.
Oh, okay,
Right?
yeah.
Because if I'm mentally trying to solve this and do that, then I just become more overwhelmed. Too many questions, right? So I'm overwhelmed. And again, I've disidentified. This isn't who I am. This is something that's happening to me based on whatever, right, was perceived. So overwhelmed, okay, I'll close my eyes. Let me feel the overwhelm, which is something that is so rare. Feel the overwhelm. Think about it. You know, it's like, feel the overwhelm. Feel the symptom. You're really angry about this situation? Okay, close your eyes. Feel the anger. Where is it? In my chest. Okay. Feel that. Notice what kind of message your body's trying to send you. Okay. It's not happy with what happened, right? That person, we don't trust that person, or whatever it is, the message. And now we're communicating.
Wow.
We're having a two-way kind of a conversation here, right? A lot of people call that sort of, reaction, overwhelm, the inner child. So would you, if a 2-year-old was screaming, would you take that 2-year-old and shut him in a closet? No.
Yeah.
That's what most people do.
Exactly. Yeah,
Right?
that's a great example.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the 2-year-old screaming, overwhelmed, okay, well, I got you. Yeah, what's the message? So this is kind of the way to, I believe, to align yourself again with safety, a sense of inner peace, and to be who you truly are. The overwhelm has to be acknowledged, not slapped away, right?
Yeah.
The anger needs to be acknowledged. The fear needs to be acknowledged, whatever it is. And when we do that regularly, the system feels listened to, and more importantly, won't feel like it needs to react like that next time. And that's what we want over time. Right? We already did that, 10 surrender sessions, felt experiences. We already been there. All right. Okay. So that's kind of a little bit of that. Yeah.
Your example is so good with the kid, and I see that's what I do sometimes. It's like if there's something going on. It's like a kid is crying. You cannot just like grab the kid and just put it somewhere.
Then you don't have kids yet.
No, I don't have kids. But that's what we do, and then of course you get angry. The kid gets angry. That's what happens with also our inner voice, right? That's what you're saying. You need to feel in peace with what's happening. And I love what you do. You start talking with it, right?
Yeah.
Until it starts going into a place where it doesn't feel threatened, right? And it calms down. But it starts by, as you said, to acknowledge there's something going on.
Yes.
And as you start talking and you start feeling where it is, it starts calming, right?
And you can also see, you can also see how this is different from meditation a little bit. A lot of people in the modern world see meditation as a way to bliss out.
Yeah.
Right? I'm just gonna, all the problems are still gonna be there, but I'm just gonna leave them temporarily. It's kind of the way we approach meditation.
Exactly,
right?
yeah.
But when I go through my surrender sessions, it's not about getting rid of things. It's about acknowledging that they're there, and at the same time listening to them, being with them, and also, and this is going to be a very can we go there?
Yes, let's go.
This is going to be a very strange idea to accept over time. That the emotions and symptoms and all the things that overwhelm a person are coming from a place within you of unconditional love. Okay, because, and let's unpack it a little bit.
Yeah.
Because when you talk about symptoms and anxiety and this and that, you think, a lot of people think that the body is trying to sabotage the body, destroy the body. Why is this happening to me? I need to get rid of it. But imagine for a moment you have a bodyguard, and that bodyguard is trying to protect you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, right? Would you hate that person? No, he's sitting outside my door. The bodyguard's 24/7. He's so determined to keep you and your family safe, right? No matter what the intruder is, they're always ready, right? What difference is that compared to your own nervous system or your anxious or your anxiety? So, as you can see, we can change the meaning. And when we change the meaning, we change everything.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
What's this anxiety? It's coming from a place of unconditional love for me, loves me so much that it's overprotecting me all the time.
Oh.
Thank you. Yeah. Thanks for that. We don't need it right now. It is safe to let go. These sorts of felt experiences.
Wow.
Right?
That was deep. Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, to get there, it's not easy.
Yeah.
It takes time. But once you really wholeheartedly believe in that concept, that idea, the truth,
Yeah.
then you can start to really pick up your progress.
Wow, I love that. I love. Yeah, and it's interesting. A lot of things that you're saying now, it's all about reframing, reframing what we think, right? Do you have any technique to help us to reframe some of the thoughts? Because that's what is at the root cause, is like the thoughts that we keep going on. In circle, and it getting better. Is there a tool, a way to help simply to reframe?
For sure. Can we do it together?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Feet flat on the ground. Okay. Well, this will only take a few seconds. Let's just quickly think about something that is disturbing us. Let's bring it to your mind. I'll bring it to my mind too. Okay. Someone or an experience or whatever it is, right? Okay. You got it?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's close our eyes for just a brief moment. And as we close our eyes, let's imagine that we've put a clown suit on that person or that experience. There's a clown suit. And now it has a big, funny, red nose. Okay? And now it's clapping like a dolphin. Okay? And now it's dancing in a circle. Now I want you to listen to the same dreadful thought from this clown's voice. Good. And listen again to the same sentence or the fear or whatever it is. That's it. And then we can slowly open up our eyes, because we'll do a quick version. And now let's think about the same experience.
Wow.
Okay?
That was crazy.
So if you think about it now, let's think about, are we as emotionally high as we were before about it, or has it lessened? Right?
That is crazy.
Yeah.
That is very powerful.
That's the power right there. Yeah. These are the sorts of techniques that can work quickly to reframe any interaction with another person.
Yeah.
Something from the past, something that's coming up.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not a person. Sometimes it's a place I have to go to.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But that place I have to go to also has some kind of an image to it. Okay, we'll take that image, okay, and let's, again, put a clown suit on there, unless you got traumas with clowns.
Yeah.
You have to be aware with that.
Yeah.
and the red nose and these sorts of things.
And the dolphin clapping.
Dolphin clapping, and now you can hear
Yeah.
the clapping going
So
on.
cool. So
And then
cool.
you listen to the thought from that perspective, and it changes.
Wow. And what about the thought like, I'm not good enough? How can you reframe something like that?
Very quickly,
Yeah.
close your eyes again.
Yeah.
Okay. As you close your eyes again, just you do it this time. Good. I'm not good enough. Let's take that thought. I'm not good enough. Now I want you to think about, and I've done my homework with you, of course, before I do this. I want you to think about Daffy Duck. Think about Daffy Duck. Very clear image of Daffy Duck. That's it. Notice the big beak. Okay. Take your finger and kind of bug him in the tummy a little bit, tickle him. Good. Now listen to the same thought, I'm not good enough, from the voice of Daffy Duck. And listen to it again. And notice it gets softer the next time. And then it gets softer again. And softer again. Till the point where you can't hear it anymore. Good. And when you're ready, you can open up your eyes, because this is the short version. Think
Wow.
about the thought, I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
And notice how you feel about it.
Yeah.
It's different.
Yeah. What I love in these two examples is there's a quick pattern there's an interruption there. And that's where it gets, when we have a thought and we just we cling to that thought, and it gets bigger and big and big.
Yeah.
And what you're doing with this, you just cut that.
Yeah.
It's very powerful.
And like you said, like pattern interrupt is fantastic. And you can do this in a way that's not necessarily reframing, as like
Yeah.
splashing cold water on your face.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
cold, it's shocking a
Yeah.
little bit,
Yeah.
right?
The principle is the same,
Yeah,
right?
it's similar. It's kind of in
Yeah.
line, right? And then you go back to what was bothering you, and you're kind of like, it's still there, but it's not as strong most of the time.
Yeah.
Okay? And if it's not as strong, then you can do something about it.
Yeah.
If it's very strong, then you become emotionally invested in it. Can't really do anything about it. I'm just not good enough. It's
Yeah.
emotional. I'm not good enough, right?
Yeah.
But we want to bring that emotional level down. That's the whole goal here. Not to make it go away.
Exactly.
Just to, now we can kind of put something else in its place.
Yeah, exactly. And when we like before a presentation or before an exam, or when suddenly we feel really anxious in that moment, is there something a quick something quick that we can do in order to reduce the level of anxiety?
Leave. No, I'm kidding. No, that is the quickest. Well, one of the things you want to make sure that we get the message across to listeners is preparing for something is very powerful. Like if you're going to go into an exam or a test and you're preparing, like give yourself 20 minutes, 30 minutes to do something in relation to nervous system regulation, like we said, safety cues, low and slow, something with the physical body, I'm touching, I'm breathing. These sorts of things can go a long way, right? Especially when you're doing them with maybe the exam book there in presence as well.
Yeah.
It's very, very powerful. Obviously, I work with imagination a lot when it comes to more emotional experiences, like trauma-based experiences. So we can always imagine the end result before it happens, meaning test is done, I handed it in, right, and gave the high five to the teacher. I'm walking out, everything's fantastic, high-fiving everybody, I feel great, I did a great job, fantastic. So now that nervous energy has turned into exciting energy. We kind of transitioned it. So we can do things like that, but and of course there are we want to get very, very good at safety cues. These are the things that work in the moment.
Yeah.
Things you do with your body.
Yeah.
Not things you think about so much, although it is beneficial to remind you that, oh, you're anxious. Okay, who's anxious? The inner protector's anxious about the test. Not me. inner protector's anxious about the test. I have already studied for hours and hours and hours. I'm confident. So inner protector, step aside right now. I'm taking the wheel. That kind of a realization is very powerful as well, right? So we can do that through words or ideas as well. But I always like to work with the physical body. What you don't want to do is do anything in line with the inner protector, meaning, like we said, defensive postures.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Tension, this sort of thing, because it affects the way you think about things.
Yeah.
Right? So it's more important to also recognize what not to do rather than what to do. Right? So if we take the power away from the inner protector, then we won't get to a state of anxiety or anxiousness, anxiety. And if that's the case, then we can start to think clearly again.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. No, I love the safety cues and also the visualization where you are already giving your body an experience of the future, what is that success is, and it doesn't feel threatened, it doesn't feel anxious.
Absolutely.
And the more you do that, of course, that's a technique from the sports people, but I never thought about, we can do that even before like a presentation or that's very, 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 very powerful.
The other, if it's okay with you, the other
Go
very
ahead.
important part to remember in the moment or before or after a particularly anxious experience is to remember that any level of playfulness will make you more resourceful. Okay, so this is not some idea. This is literally neuroscience. Okay,
What is it behind that?
so if we approach something with a high degree of playfulness, that means that we will become more resourceful and we will tap into more options on how to think about it, how to feel about it, what to do. So let's say you're going into an exam and you're walking into the exam walking funny, like a little child, right? You're going to do better at the exam. You're going to tap into things that you studied before. But if you're very serious, which is kind of the opposite of playfulness, right? If very serious, and then you're going to wonder, why is that information not coming to me? Okay? Because it shuts down our resourcefulness. So playfulness in any way, I mean, you can literally tickle yourself. You know, you can do whatever you want to bring in that playfulness in any way, and you will become, I don't know what the percentage is exactly, but a lot more resourceful.
Well, thank you for sharing so many good tools and exercises to help with the anxiety. I learned a lot. We're going to finalize, and I want to finalize by going back to the beginning where you started your story when you were at the bridge and you wanted to commit. What would be something that you would love to know at that time that you didn't know?
Well, I would like to know that I'd be sitting here, with you doing this interview. If I would have known that, I would have not even crossed my mind to follow through with something crazy like that, or the experiences I'm having these days, which I think is really important, because if a person can hold a futuristic image in their minds consistently, I do believe that it can heal a lot of suffering. Even though you don't have it yet, this is how beautiful it would be. And you can, I'll tell you honestly, Rodrigo, I used to be a tennis coach, and I hated being a tennis coach. I loved the people. I hated the job. And every day I would, do certain techniques and stuff to start believing that I'm not tennis coach. I'm, helper, teacher, these sorts of anxiety related person. So I started to grow into that, right? And I started to imagine what it would be like to be this person. Who would I meet? What places would I go to? What experiences would I have? This became a daily thing. So instead of me thinking, this is difficult, I'll never get out of it, I'm stuck in it forever, the future. I kept imagining it, kept saying it to myself again, and I started believing that it was happening even though it wasn't on the outside, it was on the inside. And eventually the outside caught up with the inside. So yeah, that's
Wow. So basically, you would love to tell your younger self, it's like believe there's hope. There's hope that there's something beautiful on the other side. You just need to keep going. It's one more hour. It's one more day. It's one more step. But it's that hope that keeps you moving forward, and that's what takes you like going out of where you are. Wow, that's Wow. Okay. To finalize, what would be one thing that you, if there's one thing that you would love people to remember from this conversation, what would it be?
One thing to remember. Well, I have this term that says you are more than anxiety after every one of my videos. So you are more than anxiety. So remember that. But I just, this could be a little bit, on the corny side, but thinking about my own story and on that bridge that day and stuff, one of the biggest lessons I took was that life really is a gift. Even though it may not feel like it for a lot of people listening right now, that life is a gift. Right now it may feel like it's a struggle, but like we said, I do truly believe that if you have a pure intention to make something better, I do believe the path can be laid out for you as you continue to hold on to that intention. It's kind of like, like planting a seed and then watering it, right? So we plant the seed with an idea, and then we start to spend more time with the idea. What would it be like, and this sort of thing. And it grows into this beautiful, tree or whatever it is, plant. So life is a gift, no matter where you are right now. Understand that the next step on the ladder is looking right at you right now. There may be something you need to accept in your life or some lesson that you need to really hone in on. But it's looking right at you, and you just have to make sure that you are aware enough that you're looking back. That's basically it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Life is a gift, and there's something bigger for you out there.
Nice segue. Really good. Yeah, you got the marketing down.
And,
all right.
Well, Dennis, this was very special. I think you are someone that I really admire.
Oh, thank you.
And this conversation, I feel very grateful that, we had this opportunity to have this conversation. I feel grateful that you were so open about what happened to you, and I also feel very happy that you have now a purpose and you are helping so many people to live better lives.
Thank you. Appreciate it. It's such a pleasure to be here, man. And maybe we can do it again in the future. Yeah.